Yeah, next week I'm going to have the folks from WeAreChange LA on for a full hour. I got to get Luke on, too, from New York. Just all of them are so great. In closing, we let Bruno go because of his bad line. Bruno really got roughed up by these guys, but they were so cowardly. They're saying, get out, and they're trying to hold him there for the police. Get out! And they hold you so they can get you for trespassing at a public event, or he actually bought a ticket for it, and then shoving him. Finishing up, Bruno and is gone, but Jeremy and Stuart Howell, both very articulate, great research. I'm familiar with both of your work. Met Stuart a few times. Finish up with what happened in this event.
So this is Jeremy, and so Bruno stood up and called out General Richard Myers and asked him how we could trust him when he's clearly contradicted his own stories around 9/11. And then quickly he was booed. And a private individual was the primary one to try to push him out as he tried to warn people about their freedoms being taken away. And then he was taken out, and then a few moments later, I couldn't handle it because they were applauding and they were apologizing to the alleged general for him having to deal with this. And so I couldn't take it, so I stood up and I said, that man was telling the truth. He has changed his story, and at that point, the same private individual came over and dragged me out into the aisle, and then gave me a chokehold and pulled me out while I asked whether this was America and whether he was a patriot. And then when we finally got out, he told me there were children in there. He was disturbed that I had made him do violence in front of the children. So it was a very interesting sort of. No,
that's always the mental illness of a tyrant, is to then say, you hurt children. Oh, I just took you to a FEMA camp. You made me do this. You're so bad. What a little punk, you know.
But what was great was that once we got outside, one lone proud citizen came out and verified to the police that I had been choked and that many of the people in the audience had been clapping. So, and not that he agreed with my action, but he stood up for my right to take that action. So it's always the lone individual who stands up who becomes the bastion of freedom in the future.
Yeah, or the cops were going to take you to jail for daring to buy a ticket and then go in and ask a question at an event, and you were going to go to jail for being choked. That's how the twisted justice works now in this country, but people are standing up and saying no.
Right. And we realized later that I failed to give the direct command to the police officers to go in and apprehend the man, saying that I wanted to press charges.
Yeah, you got to tell them you must. I'm filing a complaint. I've been assaulted. You've got to tell them to go after him. Real fast, anything from Stuart about what's happening?
Oh, thanks, Alex. Yeah, I was in the periphery on this one, but I'm just so proud of everybody in Change. It's just we all have our opportunities to stand up when we can, how we can. The way you put it before we came on, I thought was great. This is real, and we're genuine people doing our best because of the weight and the gravity of the importance of what's going on. So, I'm just thrilled about what's going on, not only with us out here, but across the country. At every opportunity, people are standing up and saying the emperor wears no clothes, and we're just doing our best, man.
And what it comes down to in the final equation is, you're good out there. Those of you listening, that you are a patriot, that you're not New World Order, that you have great ideas. Become leaders. Go to press conferences. Ask real questions. Start a blog. Get involved. All that evil men and tyrants need to flourish is for good men and women to do nothing. Well, the website's WACLA.org, WACLA.org, WeAreChangeLA.org. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to have you guys all on for a full hour next week to break down all the great work you're doing and talk more. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Alex.
You bet. We'll be right back with Walter Williams. Stay with us.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you again about a company that has supported us in the truth movement for years. Inner Health Botanicals. This company produces the highest quality superfood around, called Inner Food. My wife just loves the stuff. And now the Health Ranger, Mike Adams, has awarded Interfood his Editor's Choice Award for Best Superfood of 2009. Interfood is loaded with 20 great organic ingredients. No fillers, no sweeteners. It would be impossible to blend this up for a better price, and their formula really works. This is the real thing for the great health you need. Try the Nutra Cafe, their great organic coffee infused with polysaccharides that boost the immune system. A truly healthy coffee that tastes great. And take it from me, folks, it really does taste great. Don't forget to try their other great products. Go to www.enerfood.com. That's www.enerfood.com. Or just click on their banner on Infowars.com for special pricing.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Liberty versus the Tyranny of Socialism is his new book. He's a best-selling author. You've heard him fill in for some of the biggest talk shows in the country, the biggest, Rush Limbaugh, and do his own show from time to time. WalterEWilliams.com. And I was telling him during the break when we first got him online that I like him a lot more than I like Rush Limbaugh because I like the fact that he's a professor, that he covers economics, and that he really exposes, when I hear him on air, the hypocrisy of the Republican Party, which needs to be done more and more. So for the next 30 minutes, Walter E. Williams joins us. We then go live to a press conference from the Texas Capitol where they're openly trying to have the governor sign a bill where no more Fourth Amendment. The CPS will be able to take your children without even a fake order. Those are already flimsy from a judge. But a host of issues to talk about with Walter E. Williams today. Sir, thank you for coming on with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
It's great to have you here with us. For those that may not know who you are, most probably do, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a professor of economics. I've been teaching at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, for going on 30 years, and my big job is trying to convince my fellow Americans on the moral superiority of individual liberty and its main ingredient, limited government. It's a hard job.
What do you think of Ron Paul?
I think he's a great. I think he's one of the few. And perhaps you can only name 4 or 5 congressmen that if the founders were to come back, they would speak to. He's one of the few that they would have respect for.
So you think he's founding father caliber, or they would just talk to him?
Well, I think they would talk to him. That is, most congressmen, they have utter contempt for the Constitution of the United States and the moral principles that were the bedrock at our founding. And when I say that, a lot of people say, well, what are you talking about? Well, if you read through the Constitution, the government, the founders gave the government, the Congress, 21 things to do, and it's listed in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution, and if it's not there, they can't do it. And to give you an idea how far we've strayed, James Madison, who's the acknowledged father of the Constitution, he said in 1794, when Congress appropriated $15,000 to help some French refugees, he said, and I'm virtually quoting him, and all these quotes are available on my website at WalterEWilliams.com, he says, I cannot undertake to lay my finger on that article in the Constitution that allows Congress to take the money of their constituents for the purposes of benevolence. Now, if you look at the federal budget today, 2/3 or 3/4 of it is for the purpose of benevolence. That is, the major function of the United States Congress today is that of taking the rightful property of one American and giving it to another American to whom it does not belong. Now, I'm talking about farm subsidies, business bailouts, food stamps, welfare, prescription drugs, you just name it, on and on. Congress is engaged in what, if you and I did it, we go to jail. That is, taking the property of one person and giving it to another. It's nothing more than legalized theft.
And now it becomes more and more obvious with government just running wild at every level. Isn't the government just becoming a gang with a flag with a bunch of enforcers?
Well, they're becoming Congress and the White House, and they've been this way for a long time. It's just escalated recently. They're just a group of thugs